After 200 years of British rule, India attained independence in August 1947. One of the greatest and bloodiest forced migrations in history ensued. 1 million individuals are thought to have died. The Indian subcontinent was a patchwork of regional kingdoms known as princely states before British colonization, populated by Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, Christians, Parsis, and Jews. Each princely kingdom had its own set of traditions, castes, and rulers. Several European powers colonized India with coastal trading towns beginning in the 1500s. By the mid-18th century, the English East India Company had established itself as India's major colonial force. The British had direct control over some provinces and indirect control over princely kingdoms. The princely kingdoms remained sovereign under indirect control, but made political and financial concessions to the British. In the 19th century, the British began to classify Indians according to their religious affiliations. In India, the communities have been grossly simplified. Hindus were considered majorities by them, and all other religious communities as distinct minorities. Muslims make up most of the population. Only Sikhs regarded themselves to be part of the Hindu community. People could only vote for candidates in elections because of their own religious affiliation. These activities amplified divides, fostering distrust between previously coexisting communities. Anti-colonial movements dominated the first decades of the 20th century. Indians fought for independence from Britain in this era. Following World War II, there was a period of transition. Due to the war's severe financial strains, the United Kingdom ultimately gave up. Different political leaders in India held opposing viewpoints on the ideal appearance of an independent India. The Hindu majority was represented by Mohandas Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru and wanted a unified India. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the Muslim minority's leader. The rifts created by colonization were deemed to be too deep to be repaired. Jinnah advocated for a two-nation system, with Muslims having their own state called Pakistan. The British accelerated their retreat after riots in 1946 and 1947. Behind closed doors, India's independence was being planned. In June 1947, the British Viceroy declared India independent by August. The country would be independent and be divided into two countries, Hindu India and Muslim Pakistan. But he didn't go into detail on how this would happen. Using out-of-date maps, erroneous census data, and a rudimentary understanding of the terrain, the Boundary Committee drew a line in under 5 weeks under direct British authority, splitting 3 provinces, Bengal, Punjab, and Assam are the 3 states that make up Bengal. Where there were majorities of Hindus and Muslims, the border was drawn. However, there are other aspects to consider, such as geography and population percentages. As a result, if one Hindu majority area bordered another Hindu majority area, it would be considered a Hindu majority area in India. If, on the other hand, a Hindu majority territory borders a Muslim majority area, it was annexed by Pakistan. On the border, princely states had to pick which of the new nations they wanted to join, sacrificing their sovereignty in the process. The Boundary Committee was working on the new map while Hindus and Muslims began to settle in certain locations, where they imagined themselves to be a part of the religious majority. They couldn't be certain though. Families were split apart. Parents sent their young daughters and spouses because they were afraid about sexual violence. They went to areas they thought were safe. It wasn't until August 17, 1947, that the new map was revealed. 2 days after the declaration of independence, the provinces of Punjab and Bengal were renamed. Pakistan's east and west are geographically divided. The rest of India became Hindu majority. During a 2-year span, millions of Hindus and Sikhs in Pakistan migrated to India. Muslims in India were forced to flee their communities. Their ancestors have lived there for centuries. Lahore, Delhi, Calcutta, Dhaka, and Karachi are all cities in Pakistan. Vacated of long-term residents and repopulate with refugees. In the power vacuum left by British forces, migrants were massacred by radicalized militias and local organizations. Punjab was the epicenter of the violence, with women bearing the worst of it, having been raped and mutilated. Approximately 100,000 women were abducted and forced to marry their kidnappers. Partition had far-reaching consequences that went far beyond the immediate death toll. Many families who relocated for a short period of time found themselves permanently displaced. Borders are still a point of contention. East Pakistan withdrew in 1971, forming the new country of Bangladesh. Meanwhile, Kashmir's Hindu king made the choice to join India, which was to be confirmed by a public poll. The bulk of the population is Muslim. As of 2020, that referendum has yet to take place. Since 1947, India and Pakistan have been at odds over Kashmir. After more than 70 years, in the subcontinent, the partition's legacies are still visible in the memories of separated families and in its new political structures. Like, share and subscribe to our channel.